Sergeant First Class and Senior Instructor and Senior Coach for the United States Army Marksmanship Unit Rifle Team, Army veteran Rand Benson is your military hero for February 2024. He was born on an Air Force base in the Philippines because his father was in the Air Force, Rand going on to join the services himself, going on to join the United States Army. In his childhood, he moved around quite a bit.
Alaska, Minnesota, Wisconsin, a lot of northern areas, but my dad retired and we moved to Georgia, so that was a big shock going from Alaska to Georgia in the middle of June.
In part joining the service to honor his late father.
My father passed away before I graduated high school, so I kind of to honor him, I just ended up joining the Army myself and made a career out of it.
It was always something he wanted to do, with uncles in the service and Rand being the only one out of his brothers to join. Once he joined the Army, he went infantry and airborne at Fort Benning, Georgia, doing a variety of jobs.
Well, see, that's what's interesting about the Army. People think that when you go in and you enlist, that's what you're going to do forever. Not at all. You're constantly changing jobs.
Rand would find that he was an exceptional marksman, so good that he would win prestigious awards and break numerous records. A formative experience for him and his time in the Army.
I don't know, I guess I had a knack for it because when I was shooting one day, I shot a perfect score on what was called a FORSCOM scaled target at the time, and it just so happened the battalion commander was walking behind me, and he said, let me see that target. And he said, Sergeant, I want you to form a team and win the 82nd Airborne Division matches this year. I said, yes, sir.
After forming the team, they would go on to beat the 101st Airborne Division team, among other numerous wins and accolades. He was later transferred to Korea to work as a sniper on the DMZ before spending 12 years on the Army Marksmanship Unit at Fort Benning, Georgia. He earned the Distinguished Rifleman's Badge and the President's 100. Not many have gotten those high-level marksmanship awards.
Long-range rifle shooting is my specialty, and also teaching it. I was actually teaching instructors how to teach shooting. I wasn't just teaching students. I actually developed all the training programs we still use to this day for the squad designated marksman, for the marksmanship improvement course, for the leaders, train the trainers course. I developed all that material when I was there.
From Navy SEALs to Army Rangers and even American sniper Chris Kyle, Rand was the one who taught them.
I had Chris Kyle in one of my courses out on Naval Special Warfare Group 1 on West Coast. We used to go out to Coalinga, California, as a civilian range, and just with the Navy SEALs, and we'd go out there. I taught a couple courses out there, and they called me old man. That's why when I watched that movie, I said, wait a minute, they're talking about Chris Kyle was, but I mean, I'm not saying I'm taking credit for everything he did, but I taught him the prone unsupported position with sling, because some of those guys just couldn't figure out how to get in a sling supported position.
Teaching his students to practice correctly.
Practice doesn't make perfect. My axiom is perfect practice makes perfect. So if you practice mistakes, that's what you got. So, I taught them, how to practice for results, practice more perfectly, if you will. And you hear this nonsense about humidity and barometric pressure and all this. I'm like, really? If you hold it hard and you got the wind, you got most of it licked. You got most of your problem there.
Rand also recalled shooting a bolt-action .50 caliber rifle.
But it had a really nice muzzle brake and a really nice recoil dampening system in the buttstock. So it was one of the, for a bolt-action .50 cal, it wasn't too brutal.
After serving for 20 years and 5 months, Rand retired from the military and did some consulting work and worked in Alaska. He eventually felt a calling from God, so he went into ministry and became a chaplain, and now works in hospice here in Victoria.
And someone says, well, yeah, but now you're in hospice. I said, well, yeah, but you learn more about life when you're at the end of it than you did in all the years before it. Trust me, when your priorities change, when things change, all those things that seem important, not so important anymore. Those things that you neglected, those things are very important now. And so my job is to be there to help them sort through it, help them to just overcome any guilt or put it all behind, reconcile, forgive, all those things. That's what I'm there for. And it's important. If you're going to leave this earth, we all are, right? To make peace before you do. It's very important.
Rand's motto, to make peace with God.
I believe this, that if we make peace with God, God makes peace with us. And that's a good place to be when you leave this earth. I think that's the best thing you can hope for.
So thank you, Rand, for your service to your country, and thank you to all veterans out there. I also wanted to take a moment to thank my dad, Rock Seibel. He's an Air Force veteran. I always remember he told me just a few days after graduating high school, he was on the bus to boot camp. He may not be a Victoria native, but he still served and has had a great impact on my life and the lives of others. So I just wanted to take this chance to thank you for your service, Dad, and to your country. So thank you. Adam Seibel, KAVU TV 25 News Now.